Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kryptonized. Joining me today is Brian Esposito, and we're going to talk about TurnCoin and more security tokens. I mean, folks, this is where we're headed, like it or not, and all of my crypto friends, come attack me, prove me wrong. We've got the SEC and Gary Gensler breathing down your necks, and he's coming for you, and regulations coming because we couldn't manage it ourselves. So let's just face reality and move on. And part of that new reality is what we're going to talk about today with Brian. And Brian, before we jump into that, will you introduce yourself?
Will do. And Mark, thank you so much for having me. Great intro, by the way. So as you mentioned, Brian J Esposito, CEO and founder of Esposito Intellectual Enterprises. It's over 20 years of work. I built a holding company. It's wholly owned by me at the top level. Underneath that, I'm proud to say that I now have over 95 entities in my holdings. That accumulates over 200 joint ventures around the world and proudly operating in over 25 different industries. So what I've built is this ecosystem and arsenal of resources, IP, technology, products, solutions, and services, all run by exceptional management that's put in place of all these holdings and companies. That is then wrapped and protected by what I hope is best in breed accounting, regulatory, compliance, legal. We even have a private security arm that protects a lot of our key IP and key personnel with some of our holdings. And then that is further supported with investment banking partners, private banking partners, and strategic capital partners. So it's finally a world that I love to live and work in. It took me a long time of getting my ass kicked every which way you can think of to figure this all out.
That's how it works.
And that's how it works. Survive, get knocked down, get up, survive. It's a rinse and repeat model, but I love all the great people I get to work with. I love where this journey's taken me, and I'm honored to be on this show talking with you today.
Excellent. Well, where does TurnCoin and everything that you're doing intersect with security tokens and tokenization of real estate or anything else it sounds like you might be tokenizing?
Yeah, well, I love to stay on TurnCoin. It's definitely one of the most exciting holdings. I've been part of this company almost since the beginning. I was about a year late when Rudolf Markroff, the CEO, founded the concept. They're based out of Stellenbosch, Cape Town, South Africa. And it is the first of its kind. We made financial history this month by issuing a security token offering through INX, which I believe is one of the best ones out there. And it is a 100% gross revenue sharing digital security. The operating company that TurnCoin investors get the benefit from is known as Virtual Stacks. Virtual Stacks has built the ability to buy and sell virtual trading cards of people. We've got the full support and investment from icons such as Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Randy Jackson, Von Miller, Cam Jordan, David Meltzer. We just announced Luke Bryan as our global music ambassador. So the two business models, which are very exciting, is if you have a big audience or huge fan base like a Patrick Mahomes, you get to have a new liquidity event by selling these virtual trading cards in a regulated platform and environment to your fan base or your growing fan base. The issuer, or the Mahomes in this case, keeps 90% of that revenue plus a 1% transaction fee. The platform keeps 10% plus a 1% transaction fee. And all the revenues flow up to TurnCoin holders on a monthly basis and distribute evenly amongst your portion of how many TurnCoin you own. That's the operating money for the TurnCoin company, and that's the revenue share for all the investors. The other business.
So hold on before we jump in, because I know there's going to be questions about this. So it sounds like you tokenized TurnCoin, the entity, right?
Correct, in a security token environment. Correct.
Right, but you're issuing non-security token NFTs in the form of playing cards. I mean, similar to
fungible tokens are known as FTs. So that's the difference. So they're not securities in people, or the revenue isn't based off of the assets of the issuer or future revenues. It's based off of the trading volume of these digital trading cards.
Okay. So, but is that a security type of entity, or is that just like what we see out there today? I know it's a fungible token, but is it? It doesn't sound like it's going to be traded on an exchange. It doesn't sound like it's subject to SEC regulation.
No, the Virtual Stacks platform is not a security. A dear friend and colleague and guider in a lot of my entities is Mr. Roel Campos, who is the previous commissioner of the SEC. So he's a strategic advisor to TurnCoin and Virtual Stacks. So having his guidance, his legal background, and his assistance, we were able to go through many, many years of legal compliance and properly putting together what is the legal structure and regulated environment such as the U.S. market. And the virtual stacks platform is not a security, but the TurnCoin asset or it is a security. That's a digital security. So all the revenues that flow through virtual stacks flow up to all TurnCoin holders.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad to have brought you guys on. It's because now I'm much more clear about why you went, let's just say, public on INX. Did you look at any other exchanges like T0 or any of the other ones?
Love the T0 guys. Our security token will, in the secondary market, be honored to work with all the best ones in the space, because we want to be able to offer this TurnCoin to as many holders as possible in different regions and whatever platform they want to trade on or they have their accounts on. In my mind, what we've built here with an exceptional team and great support is the new Berkshire Hathaway Class A stock. I want this to be something that nobody ever wants to sell or get rid of. They get their monthly juice from the revenues flowing in from the virtual stacks platform up to their digital security holdings, and we want it to appreciate in value. And I also want the company TurnCoin to also be able to participate in holding as many of these as possible. So if any come on the market cheap and someone needs to liquidate their holdings, well, we want to be right there with our cash flow to be able to pick those up and support the principal value of these things.
Okay, and are you giving any dividends or any type of distribution, or is it simply invested back into the company, which then fuels the price of the token?
So there's 1 billion TurnCoin that are registered and issued. 50% of them are on permanent lockdown from TurnCoin, the holding company. So that's the operating revenue. That's all the cash flow needed to run the company, promote the company, do partnerships. The other 50% is owned by the public or the future public holders of those outstanding TurnCoin. They get paid on a monthly basis, their revenue share. So all the revenues that come in through virtual stacks in the beginning of each month, they get their dividend, but it's really a revenue share. So if $1 billion comes in, that gets distributed during that month to all the TurnCoin holders on an even distribution basis. So depending on how many TurnCoin you own, that's how much you get as far as your percentage of the gross revenue share.
And you know what wallet holders hold TurnCoin, right? Is that how is it an automatic distribution? How do you do it?
Automatic distribution, yeah.
On the Ethereum blockchain?
This is something that we're actually built. One of the reasons we wanted to work with INX and their team is that there's nothing built like this in the market. So Telos is our chain. So I'm not familiar if you're familiar with Telos, but Telos is who we use to organize all of our trading volume on virtual stacks. So that's the chain and network that we use. Amazing network, low cost, can scale and works rapidly. And then through the security token and the revenue share, we're actually building the first of its kind mechanism to automatically do that distribution at a certain time of day every month. So it's going to happen the same time every month on a certain day. We've done our test phase last month through virtual stacks. We onboarded 21 collegiate athletes through our NIL partner Burst. So we've proven the platform. These athletes were not the biggest popularity. We brought on people to make sure the system can work, make sure it can scale, and also to see what we can generate as far as athletes that don't have a huge audience. Some of these players brought in $8,000, and this is money that they never would have seen before, never knew how to get. And it's simply from their fan base, from their collegiate football career, their family, their friends, their classmates, their teammates. So we proved the mechanism that anybody can issue virtual shares or virtual trading cards of themselves on our platform across all walks of life. So now that we've built the platform, it's working. We actually had a yield distribution calculated. So our TurnCoin holders saw that money came in and it's allocated towards their account as far as their holdings in TurnCoin. And now we're going to roll out the big promo and launch with our iconic issuers such as Drew Brees, Mahomes, Luke Bryan. So we're gearing up for a very exciting, substantial launch and honored to have such exceptional TurnCoin holders. We've raised $23 million to date, all from private strategic capital, no investment banking, no VCs, no private equity. It's just people that believed in us and supported us on this journey. And now we've just turned on our INX primary round through their platform this month. And then TurnCoin holders will get to experience a secondary offering shortly thereafter.
Okay, wonderful. And do you have any plans to be on any decentralized trading networks like Uniswap or PancakeSwap or?
Possibly for our virtual stacks token, which hasn't been launched yet. So on those in that platform, and then what the utility and mechanism of having a virtual stacks token and what that would allow you to use and the value of that within the virtual stacks platform. But throughout my other holdings too, we've got some great tokens that are listed across all top tier exchanges. So I've been in this industry since inception. I've always preached I'm not going to be in a gray market and say I'm sorry and I didn't know. We're going to operate legally and within the parameters of the law and have great support from great accounting. I try to use Markham for all of our accounting and auditing. They're a top tier SEC auditing firm. I mentioned Roel Campos as far as the legal suggestions and support and guidance. I don't mind the long, expensive road. That's what we've chosen to do with all of my holdings, especially TurnCoin. I think we spent north of $3 million just on legal to do this correctly, and all the licensing and banking accounts that we had to get open and show what we've built, what is a security, what is not a security, our business model. I'm not shy of problems or huge hurdles that seem unattainable. That's the exciting part. And then once you figure it out and go through all those bruises, you can rinse and repeat it for all the other holdings or other investments that you have and say, hey, here's a new medium, which is how I saw cryptocurrencies and NFTs and security tokens. Is it's another medium or another capital raise mechanism in addition to your traditional mechanisms that we've used for years, tens of years, hundreds of years. This is just another asset class, and I'm a firm believer every company has to have this in their portfolio at some aspect, or this division of a new asset class. You just got to do it correctly and with the right legal and accounting support.
And why did you decide to go this route instead of like a PPM route, or even taking the company? Well, it's too early to take a company public like this, but walk us through how you made the decision to go the security token route?
I think it's the most amazing time in our lifetime to be able to do things like this, building a community. If you get that story out there and you have access to individuals across the world, as long as they go through a proper KYC, you can reach people that you've never been able to reach before. And I also love the full transparency of the mechanism that TurnCoin is. There's no golden parachutes. There's no misappropriation of funds. You're part of the entire equity stack. And the money that comes in through our operating company, that's what's used to run the company. So you don't have certain executives taking too much of the pie. You don't have unnecessary deals. You don't have packages made for people. If they don't do the right job, they're still going to get their package, and it's going to hurt the company or the market value of the company. So I think we've built, there's always a gotcha, but what we've built in TurnCoin looks like pure business euphoria to me, and a really safe environment for people to be part of something. And we have to execute on the business model, and I think we're going to do very well on that. We've actually underestimated what I think we're going to do. But as long as the business operates as we anticipate it being in, there's no of what we've seen with the Enrons of the world, MCI WorldCon. I mean, I've kind of been through almost every, oh my God, moment since the late 90s. That should not be as frequent or shouldn't happen at all with what we're doing with blockchain and security tokens that go out to the market. So for me, this is a very exciting time for companies to raise capital, and in this new world of a digital asset in a regulated environment. I am all for operating within the rules of regulation. They're there to protect people. As we've seen some awful situations with Terra and FTX and Three Arrows. I always forget the name.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. And I hate regulation, but we brought it on ourselves, and now clearly we need it. And so this is what we get. Now let's hope there's a different set of rules for security tokens than stocks, because they're not the same thing. I mean, they operate differently. Their needs, and you go back to what Gensler says, oh, there's already a set of rules. No, there's not. I mean, yes, there's Reg D, Reg S, Reg A. We can work within those frameworks, but they're a pain in the ass for what we're doing with security tokens. And you said you spent $3 million on setting this up. You could spend far less than that, folks. I don't know what you guys, maybe you were separating out businesses and doing all the rest of that stuff, but it's still a lot of money.
You can, but we started this in 2018, so it was
okay.
lot different landscape so, there.
$3 million in 4 years. So it took you some time. How would you streamline it? What would you say if you had Gary Gensler's ear to streamline this whole process to make it quicker and easier for people, while also providing the same protection that you're giving your investors because, hey, you're operating under a legal framework created by the U.S. government.
Yeah, I agree with you on there's no set of rules, and let's not take antiquated theories and apply it to this new movement. So what I'm hoping, and looks like INX, again, I think they're doing a phenomenal job. They have this, the INX way, where they're communicating, I think, daily with the SEC on what this looks like, on, again, how to streamline it, how to properly bring on these offerings that still got to be vetted, right? That there's the process there, which I hope it's exchanges like INX and T0 and whatever other ones that come to market. It's their job to ensure the offering is sound, it's priced right, and create the market for it. So there's the biggest issue right now. Again, I've been in this since the beginning. I want to get that traditional, old school bond. GE, again, Berkshire Hathaway investor that understands real value, yield distribution. They understand protecting the principal, wealth preservation, wealth enhancement. And then it's projects like TurnCoin, and hopefully as many as possible to be successful. We need them all to be successful right now to get the confidence into understanding what a security token is. It's not a crypto. It's not an ICO. It's an actual regulated investment vehicle. Understanding it's no different than picking up the phone and calling your broker and buying IBM stock or going on Charles Schwab. It's just another form of a security in a digital fashion. Once we can get generational wealth to understand and believe understand that it's real. That's the biggest issue I always have with a certain age group of wealth that has money to spend and invest, but they don't believe it. And I think the biggest missing piece is that CNBC Bloomberg vehicle where there's not a media outlet that shows a market, that shows buying and selling trading activity, where they can connect it with what they typically are used to and in an environment that they're comfortable with. And it's one of the things that we're trying to build with our crypto hotel, EV hotels, is that we're putting physical trading floors inside of these hotels. We're getting rid of the ballroom. We've designed a New York Stock Exchange type of environment where digital asset companies can buy seats to the exchange, have a media component where people can see that there's activity. They can see there's a market being created. These are the types of things. This is EV Hotel. So our first one's going up in the Phoenix market. We've got a pipeline of over 100 hoteliers around the world that want to convert their hotel or build new to our NFT, crypto, and high-tech hotel concept known as EV Hotel. Ken Patel, chairman of that company, I'm honored to lead with him on what we're building here. And why I wanted to do something like this for the crypto and digital security and NFT community is that you have cities like Miami, you have Dubai, which is on fire for anything crypto and NFT or blockchain related. You have these isolated communities that put parties in all these great clubs, and they're promoting their project, or they're promoting their asset or their project, but there's no physical place for these people to go and spend their crypto, tip their waiter, buy their turkey sandwich, tip the maid. And that's when the whole EV hotel concept became to get flourished, from high tech and smart IoT devices to building a facility and a building to cater these communities that want to be engulfed with digital assets. They want to walk into their room and have their NFTs proudly displayed in their room, or while they're walking through the lobby, really connect to the proud and the ego side of their digital assets. They use things like Twitter now and other mediums to show off their collections and how proud they are of them. We need to bring that into real life where you can create economies, you can move product, you can create jobs, and you can build value. So those are the types of projects that I always try to work with. And then again, that media piece for the crypto or digital security environment, it's missing. You need that CNBC Bloomberg channel where people can tune in and say.
I can tell you what's going on. I mean, they do talk about Bitcoin a lot and sometimes Ethereum, but there is no single market. I mean, you have NASDAQ, you have New York Stock Exchange, right? Those are the two primary ones that they're always going off of. Here, we have a bunch of markets, a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different startups trying to claim that crown. But what do we have, like 20 that I've seen? And I think that doesn't even include Europe and Asia. So until there's some sense of until they consolidate, I think, to one, two, maybe three big ones, and then you bring on a program like Cheddar. I mean, if someone's watching this, somebody should be kind of the Cheddar of the security token world, and even get into crypto as well. then yeah, you're right. We need people following these things. We need people able to sign up real quickly to some of these exchanges, to buy on other exchanges. That's a whole nother problem, right? Why should I have to go? If I want to buy 10 security tokens, I might have to set up 10 different accounts at 10 different exchanges. That's a pain in the ass. That's why I say everyone should get onto Uniswap. So at least there's one place, it's decentralized, where they can go and anyone around the world can buy it. But we're well over our time, but you were worth it.
Oh,
and
thanks,
so
pal.
we got to wrap things up. Where do people find TurnCoin? If you want them to reach out to you, where do they find you? Tell us how to learn more.
Absolutely. So again, thank you for having me, Brian J Esposito. I use LinkedIn and Twitter. It's my full name like that. I'm always accessible, and I love when people connect with me or reach out to me or ask me any question you wish to ask. TurnCoin, TurnCoin.com. And we have launched our primary offering on INX. So look up INX Security Token Exchange. You can see our offering. We'd be honored to have your support or reach out to us with any questions. And thank you all very much for your time today.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We've got to have you back. Hello, Kryptonize fans. I've got a token for you. We've had a lot of tokens come on the show. Some we like, some we don't. But we really like TetraGuard. Why? Because it is a wrapped coin with PAX-G, with Ethereum, Bitcoin, and this rewards token called Quadrant. So you get it all wrapped up in kind of a one-click buy at the website below. And if you hold on to it, you get rewards that you could sell back to the Ethereum blockchain and get more Ethereum just for holding what I'd liken to an ETF. So again, it's TetraGuard. Check it out. This is a no-brainer to invest in, especially what's going on in this world.